Now this is about to come from a house of the Holy Mother. I have something to say about tonight's presidential address. Mr. Obama, you're not wrong on the way you're standing on things. Because, you know, with the Tea Party and everybody thinking, you know, that everything's fine is wrong. You mentioned something about the Reaganomics. Yeah, that was a good thing. It's a shame that, remember, it took Bush 3 months to bring the nation to its knees financially. And it's taken the whole Republican Party to keep it that way. I have an earlier video that I mentioned about a mine up here that they're just dumping money into the hole. I mean, that's how you find Republicans. A Republican wants to run for office, they look for a hole to dump money into. That's, of course, my opinion. And this, you can't blame any one party. No, you can blame a majority of our financial problems on the Republican Party. Again, I'm going to mention the bridge to nowhere. I'm going to mention the tunnel to nowhere. I'm also going to mention the Social Security again. That money was taken and IOUs laid in the vault. Was it ever recovered? No. We're going to blame it on the economy. We're going to blame it on that Americans are too lazy to work. When you got foreigners being bussed in by the rich, brought from overseas, handed green cards, working visas, and put in plants where Americans need the jobs, simply because these foreigners will work for practically nothing. Their goal is to get that American dollar and take the whole pile home. They don't pay into our system. They don't pay into our taxes. They don't pay into Social Security. They don't pay into anything that the average American worker is held to by law to pay into. Mr. Obama, you need to stand where you stand. You stand between the Americans getting ripped off and the Republicans that are ripping us off. Every time a Republican comes up with a program, it goes bust. We got gas wells going up all over western Pennsylvania, and these companies aren't even expecting to pay any taxes on what they're doing. So I, for one, I have no complaint about Mr. Obama being our president. I see that Mr. Obama truly wants to set things right. I think we should reinstate the Reaganomics that Ronald Reagan had come up with and Bush threw out the door when he walked in the door. Bush had no business just breaking the nation. If we all remember correctly, he went into office talking about the Eurobuck. Does anybody remember that? The Eurobuck. To where our money was made into an international market, which again, Republican Didn't pan out. Didn't come to that. 3 months, remember that, 3 months after Bush stepped into office, our country came to its knees. He brought us into a war that we're calling a war, and it's more like a farce, because we got to be nice about everything. You know, if you look up the word war in the dictionary, it's a lot different than what people are expecting our soldiers to put up with. I mean, my God, we're putting our own soldiers in prison for being in war, simply because they're doing things that the enemy is doing to them. I think, and I know, our best bet is to get every Republican voted out of office that we can. They've all failed us. They all finance holes in the ground. There hasn't been a legitimate project that they've come up with yet that saved anything about the economy. And now they're talking about they want to be in charge on putting the United States back on its feet. That's a big pile of crap. Every time the Republicans gain the enormous amount of power that they have now, our country falls to its knees, and the Republicans keep it there. Republicans have always represented the rich, presented for the rich, and saved the rich lots more money than they do the average Joe. We need to get them out of the White House, because it's like, what the hell is going on? I got a Republican dumping money in a hole right in my own neighborhood. He puts up this big sign like he's doing something great. Of course, the backhoe operator is making a lot of money. The guys who's driving the trucks is making a lot of money. But what is it doing for the economy, our local economy? That particular project is doing nothing but dumping money down another hole. And the sign speaks about a I know the word. The EPA is like taking care of this horrible problem we have. The only problem I have with it is the money that's being wasted on something that's been sitting there since the turn of the 19th century. Nobody's bothered it. It hasn't bothered anybody. All of a sudden, it's a EPA emergency. More money being dumped in another friggin' hole. I cannot believe the Speaker of the House and the way he pushes everything. Oh, it's Obama's fault now. No, Mr. Speaker of the House, President Obama was handed a shitty stick, and he was handed a shitty stick, and he had to grab the dirty end. Such a Republican move. And then you're going to blame him because he won't let yous do the hole digging and money dumping that it seems like yous know how to do so well. See, earlier I was like, oh, just Corbett like was the only, seemed like I had a main problem with Corbett. Nah, the problem is with you also, because yous don't know how to bring America back to its feet. The last Republican that did anything for this country was Ronald Reagan. Reaganomics needs reinstated. It was more equal and it was fair to the average worker. If the average worker needed safety gear under Reaganomics, that worker got safety gear. And Mr. Bush, you were the worst president I've ever seen walk through the White House. I mean, maybe the war had to happen, but you didn't have to break the country. And your Eurobuck never worked out. International money is never going to mix in to a number of nations. Rome found that out. Need to stop your shit. The Republican Tea Party, good job. Yuns did it. All these projects that y'all came up with and none of them worked. How can you honestly sleep at night and or live with yourself? How can you look at your children when you've made the country poor? And you know what? Your children's going to grow up and know it, if they aren't already grown up. So you need to change. Get rid of the Republicans who are causing the problems. See, I didn't say all Republicans are bad. We need to get rid of all the bad ones, because there's good and bad in everything. And I'm really tired of seeing money going into holes in the United States. Thanks for listening, and God bless you.